This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, guys. So yesterday we created a pipeline, right? Release pipeline, and we created deployment groups as well for QA environment. And then we configured two servers in QA environment uh, in order to deploy our artifacts from the release pipeline. And we also have another server in the production environment we haven't configured, basically. Okay. So today we'll see how we can make use of tags to make your deployments more efficient, and as well as different stages, how you can promote your code from one environment to other environment, along with some approval flows as well. Okay, for today. First, let me go ahead and start my servers. Yesterday, we stopped our servers, right, to reduce my cost, basically. Nothing related to, DevOps. But this is a kind of activity in any company that we take. We shut down the servers in the night time, basically. I mean, non-business working hours, where developers or anyone is not working. We basically shut down the servers. Mostly, it will be development servers. So it will give a lot of cost efficiency to the companies, basically. Okay. Production will never be shut down, but dev 100%. QA, some percent of the servers might be shut down mode in the night times. Depends on the way your teams are structured across the globe. If everyone is from the same location, they can shut down their servers in the night time, right? In the QA and development environments. So I have just started all the servers. It may take some time for them. Okay, let me okay let me go to the home page here. Let me refresh it. Okay, then I click this. Okay, it's still showing stopped only. QARC. Refresh. Okay, all are running. So let me go to our DevOps portal as well, dev.azure.com, and online travel and our project, and then uh, pipelines under that, release pipelines, right? This is where we are. Let's go and edit this pipeline, basically. Okay, click on the pipeline and then click on edit. So we are in the QA environment, right? So you call it as a stage in this. If you have another environment, you will see another box, and you will have a different name, whatever you name it, basically. Okay. So first, let's open this. Sorry. So this is where we left, right? Yesterday we added the tag here, web, for this web server. I mean, to say that, hey, in the QA environment, I have two servers. One server is basically responsible for hosting web application, where it is only front end, basically, and another server is responsible for hosting my APIs. So that's how your infrastructure architecture of your application, basically. You can say application topology. Okay, this is depends on the architecture, how your application is structured, and as well as infrastructure architecture for your application. Okay, so there might be 10-15 web servers, 10-15 API servers as well. So API server or web server, both are same only. It's just a categorization. In one web server, you deploy the front end code, and another web server you deploy the API code, basically, because anything that is accessible over internet via browser is a web, basically web application, be it a API, be it a front end. Okay, So we given web here, one matching target, and this is all we done yesterday. Okay, and today let's go ahead and configure this API. See, again, what I'm trying to do, I have my microservices project artifacts. I want to deploy that code on a different server other than the hello. Okay, I want to deploy my microservices project artifacts from the pipeline into a different server other than the server where I am hosting, you know, front end code basically. Okay, so obviously I need to follow the same steps here as well. So let's go ahead and add IAS web app manage and IAS web app deploy first. Let's click on this to add a task. IAS web app, right? You can see here in the bottom, you can see the names here. Okay, IAS web app manage, add it, and then IAS web app deploy, add it. Okay, we need to configure those tasks now. Okay, and before that, you need to configure this deployment group job. Yesterday we added this like this, right? Add a deployment group job. We need to configure this deployment group job. So since I'm in the QA stage, I'm going to use the same QA deployment group only. But in this, I have 10 servers, and this server, I mean, in this job, I want to deploy my microservices projects. So I'm going to specify API as a tag. The moment I specify API as a tag, what happened? It is showing one matching targets. Okay, so I'm categorizing my servers like this, and I'm telling my release pipeline, hey, if there is a tag, I mean like API, then go and deploy my microservices artifacts into that server. That's what I'm telling this. Okay, I'm done there, and then manage web IAS website. All you can, because you can see the configurations here, and you can replicate them here basically. Okay, because it will be same. We are using the same basically. So since I added it here, everything is editable. Nothing is inherited from the QA base. I mean, this deployment process. Okay, let's go ahead and write on our one website name. I prefer to copy paste from here because I'm going to deploy to the similar name. See, whatever is the server, your configuration will not change, right? Your website name, etc. Website name, okay, and then the physical path will be same. Okay, and then uh, add binding. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the same thing. Okay, you don't need to be different. This is a default one, right? You can see if you come here, you can see the same thing here as well. Okay, and I'm not using any additional commands now. Okay, and in IAS web app deploy, what we have, uh, you need to select the virtual application name, right? So now this is what is going to change here. Deploy IAS web app. Okay, website or app, right? I will say deploy API. You can change it whatever you want. So what is the website name? Same thing here, guys. I mean, okay, and then virtual application. So so you are going to deploy our microservices project, right? We created a virtual application called API. Let's go and log into that servers so that you clearly see it. Take this IP address. This is for a server key of server one. Go to mstsc and then paste it. Connect. let me log into this server as well, which is a front end server 2. Go to run mstsc and copy paste it. It is 21 server. Okay. 21 means IP address ending with 21 basically. Okay. Okay. Let me log into this production server in the production environment as well. Okay. Let me. We haven't configured this server. Okay. 193. Okay. Okay. That's it. So first, let's go to front end server one. This is our web server, right? How do you know? You can simply go to deployment groups, right click, open in another tab. This is a quick way to do. My two servers are online in my QA deployment group. So front end server one is marked as a web. Front end server two is marked as API. Okay. Now let's go to front end server one, which is a IP address 20. You can see ending with 20. Let me close all these things. We don't need to configure anything, right? Let me open IIS. So yesterday we created this API, right? But we didn't deploy anything because we just added basically. You can go and look into the physical path. There is no content here, right? Okay. So, but this is a front end server one. Basically, we are not asking release pipeline to deploy API code to this server 20 server because we named it, we tagged it as a web. Okay. But just for our verification whether this pipeline is working as expected or not, I created a API virtual application in front end server one as well. Okay. Let's go to front end server two, which is our 21 server ending with 21. There will not be any confusion because in the IAS as well you can see the server name, but you can refer to any server with IP address or name. It depends on your comfort. So front end server 2, in this we have the API here as well, right? Let's go and click on explore. So here also you don't have any code. So once now the release pipeline is completed or execution is completed, you will see the code here and API is running from this front end server 2, but front end server 1 will not have any API code. Okay, because of the configuration what we mentioned here. Okay. What we mentioned here in terms of the tags. Let's go and configure this. I need to give the virtual application, right? So API. Okay. And from here, from the packages or folder, these are the artifacts, right? Just select microservices only. Microservices.zip. This is your project name dot zip basically. That's it. Rest everything for the time being, ignore them basically. Okay. I'm done with my configuration. Now all you need to do is click on save. Okay. We can do one more thing. Let's go to Visual Studio. I'm going to enable continuous integration and continuous deployment basically. So continuous integration means you already know, right? The moment someone checks in code, your CI pipeline will be built and your Sonarchy will be analyzing your code and applying the code quality gates, and it will make your build fail or successful. That is a Sonarchy, right? Sorry, that is the continuous integration. And continuous deployment means that is the release pipeline where you are continuously deploying your code to the different environments. Right now I have only one environment. What I'm going to do, I am going to enable go to CI pipeline, right click and open it another tab. So far I'm triggering release pipeline manually, right? Okay, now I make it automatic as well, even this one. Go to the CI pipeline, edit this. Guys, for quick demo purpose, I did not add those sonar cube etc. Right? Because we already seen that one. Okay, this is only with the basic steps which executes your build and then give the artifacts. Go to triggers and then enable continuous integration. Okay, that's it. Okay, now save basically. Don't do anything. Okay, now so I enabled the continuous integration. Now in the deployment, sorry, in the pipe release pipeline as well. uh, Go to pipeline. Okay, and then you have a continuous in the artifacts you have the continuous deployment trigger option. Click on this. Okay, you can enable this basically. So there are multiple options, one for pull request, one for regular. If you enable this, enabling this trigger will create a new release every time a new build is available. That means as soon as the CI pipeline is completed and artifacts are ready, this release pipeline will be triggered automatically. I don't need to click basically. Okay, let's click on this. Okay, no branch filters. Any build that is there, just trigger the release pipeline as well. Okay, I enable the continuous deployment trigger as well. Just save it. Okay. Now the expectation is that, just for our understanding, let me go ahead and make some code change as well. Okay. So for better understanding, I'll make it in the UI. Okay. In about page, uh, let me add. Just for our identification purpose or differentiation purpose. Yes, let me. I just want to send this one. Okay. Uh, Let me go ahead. Sorry. Let me go to Team Explorer. Changes. CI/CD demo. Make all and push. Oh, there is some merge conflict. I probably made. What is that? Let me just give me a second. I actually added some comments here. Okay. That could be the reason it is failing. Let me take it. Oh, in the web.config there were changes on the server and here. But what I do, Go to Team Explorer, changes. Right. Just give, sorry, has it been done? No, right? Still, I have my commits here. Okay, sync. Okay, so now if I go to really this build pipeline, go to click on pipeline. You see, the pipeline is being triggered now, just now, right? I think this is queued in. It is queued. Okay, click this. Now this is started because we enable the continuous integration trigger. As soon as this build pipeline is completed, if you go to the release pipeline, go to click on this releases, you will see a release 6 immediately as soon as the build pipeline is completed. Let be here basically. Let's see. Let it complete. Okay. Just remember for our demo purpose from the continuous integration pipeline, we removed Sonar queue because it takes time and it is a waste of time for us in the demo because you already seen it. But in CI, you must have it as I mentioned earlier. Okay, this job is completed CI. Now let's go and look into the release pipeline. Let me refresh this. Oh, it's already refreshed. You can see the release 6 now. It started. It is deploying into QA. Click on this. And this is because of continuous deployment. Now in QA, first job is happening, web deployment job. I have two jobs, right? Web deployment is happening. You can see only one server. Deployment is happening to front-end server 1. If you want to see further, you can click on this one. But let it be. You already seen it multiple times. Once this job is completed, your next job API will get started. You see, because I have only one parallel job, I can run only one job at any time. That's the reason these are in sequence: web deployment job and API job. And it is deploying to API server. You can see here, front end server 2. Guys, are you following me?
Yes, Punna.
Yeah, done. So now what is the expectation? My web deployment job deployed my latest front end code into front end server 1. Okay, and my API job deployed my API code into front end server 2. Though I have my API virtual application in front end server 1 as well, you will not see any code because your release pipeline considered only the server that contained the web basically. Okay, purely considering the tags. So this is how you can categorize all the servers in different deployment groups as well. This is my deployment group QA. I have 100 servers. 10 servers are meant for web application hosting. 10 servers are responsible for microservices hosting. Like that, you can make your choices. Not yours, basically project choices. Let's go and see them basically. Okay. Go to front end server 1. So here you can see, right, front end server 1. It should not have anything. You can refresh this website once. You see there is no code here, right? And you go to folder as well. Just for differentiation, I am trying to show you. Okay, there is nothing here, right? Okay, now let's browse this your journeys. So in the your journeys, I think we made some change in the about, right? Yeah. In the about, you can see our change rate CI/CD demo. That means it contains the latest version of your web application. Okay. Now let's go on to our front end server 2, where we tagged it as a API. So this is our front end server 2, right? We tagged it as API. Let's go ahead, refresh it. You can see the API code here, and that is what you see in the folder, right? See, it's already updated. You can see 157. Okay, 3 minutes ago. You can see the clock here. Okay, now if you can go and browse it, right? Even the API as well. Right click and go and say browse. So this is my API application, right? Which contains APIs. If you click on the API, then you will see all the APIs. Yesterday I shown this from the Visual Studio, right? All this, these are all the RESTful APIs. That's why you see get, post, put, etc. Okay. Okay. Now you can check the website from here as well. Your journeys. Click here, browse. Still opening. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Application name, home, about, contact. Go to about. We don't see CI/CD demo. That means it doesn't have latest code. The reason, this server is tagged as a API server, and release pipeline did not deploy the UI code into this one. Though I have the uh, this virtual application here. Make sense? Clear? Hello? You are on mute, guys.
Yes, Punna.
Okay. So I was talking about CD, right? I said there is, you can call it as a continuous deployment or continuous delivery. Okay. The scenario now, what you see is a continuous deployment. That means as soon as developer made some change and push that code to the remote repository, CI pipeline is triggered, and immediately after the successful build of that CI pipeline, that that CD pipeline is also triggered, and the code is deployed to the different servers based on the configuration what we mentioned here. So there is no manual intervention here. Everything is automated. You have to think like that. Okay. CI is automated completely, no manual intervention. CD is done completely. There is no manual intervention. If that is the case, you call it as the continuous deployment. Guys, 90% of the companies cannot do the continuous deployment because that requires highest perfection of your code. Basically, you should have highest level of code quality, which is validated by your sonar cube, and after that you have that means you need to have 100% unit test cases as well, right? Okay. And then even CD as well, all your test cases should have been automated using Selenium or anything else. That means there is no manual testing involved here. The code is deployed and automated integration test suite is started and it valid. We haven't come to that phase. I'm just telling we are going to extend that this talks basically. So now even automation testing, automation code quality testing, everything is automated and the code is available in the servers and the users have started using that one. This is called continuous deployment. But in most of the cases, at least in all the consulting companies, in most of the clients, you will have the continuous delivery pipeline. What is continuous delivery pipeline? It is to have some approval mechanism in the flow basically. That you call it as a continuous delivery. If there is approvals, approval process within your release pipeline, I mean your entire SDLC process here, CI and CD, then you call it as a continuous delivery. If there is no approval process, everything is automated, be it a unit testing, be it a code quality, or be it a review, be it testing. If everything is automated, that is called a continuous deployment. Okay, clear? We're going to extend that conversation. Okay, now what you have seen is only one stage, but as I said, we will have multiple stages, right? Okay, more than one stage for sure. Dev, QA, UAT, production, etc. But if I go with the four stages, I will end up with more money. Anything more than one is more multiple, right? So I'm going to add a production stage as well here. Okay, let me go ahead and edit my pipeline. So as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter how many environments you are having. The process of deployment will be same. The code that you are deploying is same, right? Only some configuration settings will be changed. Like your mostly your web.config or some application configurations will change. So what will be changing here? Your user ID passwords for connecting to the database, and you might be using some external APIs or some other APIs. Okay, if you are using QA, let us say you are connecting to Facebook to fetch some of the ad performance in those details. They will give you one API, right? They will also give you QA API for testing purposes, and they will give you production API for the production purposes. And even if you are having some payment gateways, let us say you might have a ICICI payment gateway or HDFC payment gateway, they also have the APIs, right? If you are testing your application with their payment gateway, they will give you testing API. Other than that, if it is a production, once you are good, you are going to production, they will give you production API, right? They can't allow you, or nobody can allow you to test your application on the production and version of APIs. Okay, these are all the things that will be mentioned in your web.config if it is a .NET application. If it is a Java application, they will have a file called properties basically, similar to this one. Okay, name is different. Okay, we will keep all those things in here basically in web.config. Okay, those are all the things, moving pieces between your environments. Rest everything, your artifacts will be same, everything will be same. Okay, now I'm going to create another stage from here. Since as I said, all the code will be same except some configuration. uh, you can clone this one basically. Okay, how do I clone? You can simply click here. So you should be able to clone the stage. Yeah, add a stage or clone a stage here. Okay, you can clone this. As soon as you cloned it, you see it made a copy of your QA. That's why copy of QA, everything will be same here. Whatever you see in there, you will see here. Okay, but obviously you need to change the servers, right? Servers cannot be same, rest everything will be same. Your IAS configuration, website names, the code, everything will be same. Servers and your configuration content will change. So for that reason, let me go ahead and change the stage name to production. Okay, and then let all these things will be same. Go to job. This time you don't use a deployment group called QA. You will use a deployment group called some production. I haven't created a deployment group production. Let's go ahead and create that. Okay, so open the deployment group tab. I have this tab open, right? You already have one deployment group. Sorry, click on this deployment group. Now let's go ahead and add a new deployment group. Click on this and say production. Okay, say create. The moment you say create, this is in this project online reservation system, and this is the name, and you can go ahead and configure or attach your servers to this deployment group. Okay, first let me log into our production server. Okay, we haven't installed anything, I guess, here. Let me go and see the IIS. No, right? Okay, so we need to install the prerequisites as well. Go ahead and add rules. Next, next. Guys, I am quickly going here because you already seen and it is recorded yesterday as well. Web server IIS, click this. Next, from .NET framework, select ASP.NET 4.7. Okay, and nothing else from here. So next, again next, from this role services, leave everything as it is, but except here you add this basic authentication. Just in authentication one, you would like to see something, but it will be taken care of by your IAS administrator or server administrator. You don't need to worry. All you need to know is you need to tell the team that this is must and should, because you are deploying the ASP.NET application. ASP.NET 4.7 under application development section. That's it. Next, install. Let it run. This is front-end server in the production environment. Let me open PowerShell. Why it is triggering? PowerShell, right click, run as administrator. We'll do it after this is completed. No hurry here. Okay. 193 server. Okay. Front-end server 1 prod. That's how I given. Okay. IAS is completed. I can see installation succeeded. Close it. Now let me close this one as well. I don't need it any longer. Let's go and search for IAS. You can set for IAS or INET MGR, whatever it is. INET MGR is a shortcut. That's it. Nothing more than that. Front end server 1. Okay. Nothing here, right? Let me go and add a application, and here I would say your journeys only. Same we have to give, right? Your journeys. Okay. And you can select an app full default. I mean, you can change it later as well. Okay. Integrated. And the physical path, let me take a copy of this one, or better, because everything has to be same, I will copy from here itself the name. Basically, this is a mistake many times people do. They don't do copy paste, and it will be different and they run into issues. Your journeys, and then you need to have the physical path. Go here, inetwork www root. Okay, your journeys. Okay, done. Now if you go here, explore, there is nothing in this one. Okay, now what you do, see, this is which stage? Production stage, right? See, I don't have another server in my production environment. That's the reason I'm removing this API. Okay, because I already explained this tags in the QA environment, right? Let's remove this because I don't have any server for this, but generally you will have it, right? It will be same. Okay, so my IS is completed, but I need to do the deployment group, right? So come here, take this script in the deployment group of production, use personal access token, copy to the script, go to the server, go to the PowerShell window which you opened as administrator. Right click here, you you can see names here: deployment group production, the computer name, etc., etc., and then organization name, etc. Okay. Let's go and enter. Same process whatever you did yesterday for the QL. So enter deployment group tags. No, press enter. You want to use NT authority system for the in the IIS. Yes, press enter. And you want to restart the machine after this configuration done. No, I don't want to. Press enter for now. Generally you will do it. Okay, my deployment group is also configured. Let me go and close it. Okay, uh, now come back here. If you go to the targets, you can see front end server 1, no deployments happen. Okay, now you can go to the release pipeline. It is showing offline. Yeah, now it is. It took a couple of minutes, it seems, to check the status check, basically to do the status check. Okay. Now go to deployment web. So same, there is no difference. All you need to do is change this deployment group from QA to production, and remove this tab because there are no tags. That's why it is saying no matching targets in the production deployment group. Remove this. That's it. Okay, and now go here. Go. Nothing will be changing here because you will have the same website, same virtual application, and you are going to deploy the same code. That's the reason we cloned it, basically. Okay, so now when you go and do the code change and push it, all the CI will be triggered and CD will be triggered. This time, instead of one environment, what do you say, sorry, stay here, save this first. Okay, so earlier you have only one environment, now you have two environments. The code will be deployed to the both the environments, but I don't want code to be deployed to the production environment without any approval. That's my company policy. I can go and create a flow here, basically approval flow. So you call it as a pre-deployment approvals, right? Anything that happens before the deployment is called a pre-deployment flows. So visually this is excellent. You have a stage. Any configuration you see on the left hand side is a pre. Any configuration that you see on the right hand side is a post. So I want to do some pre-deployment checks. So click on this production, click on this. Now what I want, I have the trigger here, pre-deployment condition. What is the trigger? After the stage QA, Means after the code is deployed to QA and comes to the production, I want to I want to have pre-deployment approval here. Means someone has to approve this one. So I enable this. I have many things here. You can I'm going with this one. Pre-deployment approvals. Select the users who can approve or reject deployments to this stage. To this stage means production stage. Yeah, you can go ahead and search for users. Okay. Probably I can add one of you. I don't think you are there in this one, right? Open link. Organization settings. I'm in my online reservation organization settings. Sorry, this is a project basically. Go to the organization level, organization settings, users. Hey, can you I think Sahul, can you give your ID,
DevTest,
email ID? Yeah, yeah, whatever you used, you given me earlier.
DevTest underscore 28 at the
No, no,
rate hotmail.com.
can you paste it here in the chat so that I will copy paste it? Done?
Hmm.
Okay, I got it. Okay. Check, you might have received an email now. You need to join basically. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to the project settings. You remember earlier I was not getting this option. I went it in a different mode actually. I don't know, some UI loading issues, etc. Now I'm able to do it here directly. I'm able to add it to the team as well. Okay, this is the purpose I just added. Okay, go to the deployment. Where is that? Release pipeline. Now I can search for Sahul here. Once he add it, browser, did you log in?
Yeah.
Again, while you are logging, let me explain these things. See, he can wait how much time this pipeline will wait for his approval. It cannot be days, right? You have to keep it minutes basically. Probably he will wait for 10 minutes. Once this flow is triggered, uh, this pipeline will wait for Sahul to approve this or reject it. It will wait for 10 minutes for his action basically. After that it will reject the uh, you know release itself. Okay, and then approval policies. Obviously whatever you see in our pull request, right, you can see similar thing here. The user requesting a release or a deployment should not approve it. Let us say someone is triggering this release. He should not be able to approve himself, right? That's one. Okay, check this. Skip approval if the same approver approved the previous stage basically. I mean, if there are more than 2 3 environments, obviously the same approver might be there in each and every stage basically for that reason. Okay, but you don't need to do it. I mean, let every stage will be approved.
Purna, I'm getting a message. I mean, you do not have access. Your account deviation is not authorized to view this page.
I given it, right?
Make sure that URL is correct in your account.
I added you, right? Can you check
Yeah.
now, because I added already to you.
Okay.
You need to log into that. I mean, you might have received a welcome email, right?
Yeah, yeah. This,
Okay, that's fine. While you are doing it, let me go ahead with this. Okay. Anyways, this will be visual. Okay. Uh, so you made a so all you have done is you configured pre-deployment approvals here. Okay, and then you also changed your deployment group here from web to QA to production. Okay, now the expectation is that as soon as the code is changed, the code will be deployed to the QA environment, and in QA environment you have two servers. Web front end server one will have the latest code of web, I mean front end application, and front end server two will have the API code. Okay, and then uh, to this production, it will not be deployed till Sahul approves it basically. Okay, that is the thing
yeah,
you're going to
joined.
change. Now you got it.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Then we are ready. And I just want to make one more thing as well. We were talking about web.config settings, right? Each environment will have different server user ID, password, etc. At least database user ID, passwords, right? Okay. So guys, .NET people will keep their settings, such kind of settings under in web.config under app settings. They will go and add a key value here basically. Okay. Just to save the time, I have added a couple of keys here. Okay, let me take copy and paste it here. Okay, and this is for I mean email server and dashboard server. I am saying a sandbox email, sandbox tableau demo.com. Okay, and I would also have another thing called uh, connection strings basically. So it will be immediately after this app settings, connection strings. So this is my DB server. So what you can think of, while I am running it from my Visual Studio, I might be my code might be connecting to Sandbox email, Sandbox Tableau, and this server Purna, I mean DB server one, etc. But it has to be different for QA environment and production environment, right? These are my, what do you say, my dev server settings basically. When I'm using it Visual Studio, I use the dev server settings, dev environment settings. When QA, it has to be QA. In production, it have to be production. These values will change. The keys will be same: email server, dashboard server, DB server. The values will change. When this is common, right? So in many times, what people do, they will create a multiple web.configs, web.dev.config, web.qa.config, web.production.config. That's how people do it. After the deployment, they will go and rename web.dev.config to web.config. Like that they do. It's a manual. Since we are doing it automated, we can do this automated as well. You will have, I mean, that let the developers have this web.config what they are using basically. They don't need to make any changes in order to make a QA environment to make use of QA values, and production environment production values. You can, as a DevOps engineer, you can control it now, and there will be no burden on the developers. How do you do it? You go to pipeline and you have variables here. So in this variable section, you can define the variables, and those variables are your key value pairs. So go to your here, take this email server, copy this, and come here, add a variable, name it, and the value will be, it is not similar to this one. Okay, this is the dev, right? Sorry, this is a dev. What I'm going to do, I copy paste here just for reducing my time. Instead of sandbox, I'm saying, hey, in QA environment, use the URL email QA. Okay, and you need to mention in which stage you need to use it. We say this is for the QA environment. All the servers in the QA will have this web.config entry. Okay, now click on add, take this dashboard server, copy, paste it, and let me take that alt tab, and here also you make a change, tableau QA. Okay, and then you have one more, right? DB server. Take this DB server, add it, DB, and take the entire this string basically. Okay, and I'll say QA DB. Okay, that's that I changed. Okay, and here as well, I'll make these things as a QA. Scope is QA basically. That's it. Okay, and similarly, I need to have the production as well, right? For production, I will again do the same thing. Copy paste these things and copy paste these things. Copy email server, but I will make it as a pod. See, for our identification purpose, I'm doing it. Okay, and I'll name it as a the scope to production. So you have the same entries, right? I said nothing will be changing, only your values will change. DB server, add it, and then dashboard server, change it to prod. Okay, or you can say production completely, and then change the scope to production. And the last one, let me take it, DB server, DB, and take the same thing, change it to, what do you say, production DB. That is the server name. So now you have a same web.config entries but different values. If the code is being deployed to QA, these values will be taken because you defined as scope as a QA. And if the code is being deployed to production, then it will take the values of uh, here basically what you mentioned for production. So how your release pipeline knows this, hey, so basically how your release pipeline will go and check your app settings and connection strings, etc., to go and verify for these keys that you defined in that variable section. If a key is available here, okay, your release pipeline will go and check what is this stage, and it will check, oh, okay, in my QA stage the key is mentioned and I need to take this value. It will take this value and update the web.config entry basically to this value, and it will do it for each and every variable what you defined here. Okay, this is a configuration, but how do you enable it? You go to the pipeline, go to the QA, okay, and app deploy, file transforms and variable substitution option after this package folder option. So you will have multiple options here. One is XML variable substitution and a JSON variable substitution. So our web.config is XML basically. You can see this is XML. Okay. And we are going with the variable substitution, means we define a variable and use it there basically. Okay. So variable substitution by default it gets enabled. You can use that basically, but we did not configure. Right now we configured. Okay. For API, I'm not demonstrating. Okay, uh, let this demonstration be here. Okay, and similarly, you go to the production. By default, that is enabled, as I told you. So your pipeline looks for this option if it is enabled, and it will go and look for variables. Okay, in variable section you have the key value pairs. Then it will go and search for your web.config for these keys. If the key is identified, your pipeline will replace the value of actual web.config with this entry. So that's how As a DevOps administrator, you can manage keys on your own by taking it from the development team basically. And development team no need to make any changes to their web.config. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, since I have everything is here, I'm going to make simple change here. Continuous delivery with uh, web.config transformation automation. I've just given so that to just make the difference visually as well. So as soon as you click in, the code will be the build pipeline will trigger. After the build pipeline, code will be deployed to your QA environment as per web and API tags. In the web, you will see in the web project, you will see a different these. I mean, these values will not be displayed in the web.config. These will be QA email, QA Tableau. In production, it will be email production, Tableau production. These are the expectations, right? Now let me go ahead and trigger it actually. Changes, web config, automation, and approval flow testing. Okay, something. Yes, it takes another couple of minutes. Please bear it with me. Otherwise, we have to repeat again tomorrow. So it's done. Now if I go and look into the history of my pipelines, click on this online reservation system. The pipeline is triggered already. This is the no commit comment I given, right? Web config automation or approval flow testing. It is just queued actually. Yeah, started. See, before this file transformation option, right? We used to spend days and days just for web.config changes basically. In a real world application, in complex, you see, I come across a web.config or some configuration where my file contains, 500, 600 entries as well. Imagine same administrator how to maintain uh, uh, 500 entries for web.config for development environment, production environment, and QA environment. And every time it's a manual effort. People have to go and so as an administrator, you will go and do some scripting work to replace those values. And we used to use XML XDT, XML transformation. We do write XDT code actually as an administrator, and that takes days and days. And then once you write those scripts, somebody from architecture team or a development team have to come and confirm that one. Some project manager also need to do a one by one verification. Okay, in dev environment, the DB server name is devdb. In QADB, like that he also needs to check. Even after checking all these things, still he will fail because you have 500 entries. It's not easy to remember and maintain each and every time. It's very difficult, and nobody knows who will make changes to your code actually. All those things are now eliminated in Azure DevOps with the introduction of this XML variable substitution. You are simply defining in one place, one central place. That's done, right? Let's go and see the release pipeline. It's triggered. You see, the code is being deployed to QA. It's already done actually. Okay, it's completed, right? Let's see the flow basically. If you go to release production, it shouldn't have been started. Hey, did you approve by somehow? No, right?
No, Puna.
Yeah, it shouldn't be deployed. It went to in progress. Sorry, let me close this. How come it is deployed? Let me edit pipeline. Oh man, looks like I did not save it. Pre-deployment approvals, right? It's still visible. Looks like I did not save this one basically. Okay, that's okay. We'll test that one as well. Now you see the code is deployed to all the environments. Now let's go and test the web.config entries at least. Okay, it should be changing, right? For QA, it should be QA web.configs. For production, it should be production web.configs, not the anything else. Edit variables. Where are my variables here? New release pipeline. Edit. What is happening? Guys, I added, right? You seen it? Did I not save this one? Team? Did I not click save?
Don't remember.
Oh, sorry. Oh man, we are already in this tab. I did not click on the save. See? Yeah, I mean, I'm explaining it. I forgot it. Let me click on this. Luckily, I did not come out from this page. I have this habit of tabbing, right? I did not save this one. Sorry for that. I think that is the reason here also. I added this one. Okay. But looks like, yeah, now it is saved everything. All the configuration is saved. This is QA. It's not on the QA, it's on the production. Okay. Yeah. Now the configuration is enabled actually. Hey, sir, bear with me. Can you wait for 5 more minutes? Not even 5 more minutes. Okay. Now everything is saved here. Okay. Forgot to click on the save further. Okay. Uh, where did I make that change? Okay. Save. 21st October. Okay. Let me go. Click this. Changes. Let me give just test. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I forgot to click on the save. Okay, done. It should be quick. No need to worry. Let me close all these things. Okay, close this. And then, yeah, it is saved. Okay, click on the pipeline. Yeah, it's turning. Let's give another minute or so. It will be completed. So while it is happening, let me open another tab for this pipelines, release pipeline. Okay, it's quick actually. Completed. Done. Okay, it's very quick. Go to release. You can see The release will be triggering here. Release 8 is triggered, you see. QA is happening. Let's go here. Web deployment is happening. Means your latest front-end code is being deployed to front-end server 1. Okay, completed. Now the API deployment is happening to the API server. You can see front-end server 2. Done. It is completed. If I go to the pipeline view, right, click on this release, you see QA is succeeded, but for production it is showing as a pending for approval by dev test underscore 28. Earlier it started, right? If I open here, yeah, I can see basically it is pending for approval. Okay, don't do the approval now, Sahul. Let me check the settings. I mean,
Okay.
let me go to the go to this QA server, QA box. Let me refresh this. This website is let me refresh this website. So web.config 21st October, you made this change, right? It has come. That means code is deployed. And go to physical path, www root, your journeys, your end, open web.config. So what is the web.config you see now here? In the email server, email QA, tableau QA, and then QADB, right? But in my Visual Studio, what I have? Different, right? In my Visual Studio, what I have? I have different entries, isn't it?
Yes.
Here I have sandbox DB server 1. But because of the configuration we updated in the release pipeline, from sandbox it moved to email QA, tableau QA, and QADB. Make sense? The web.config transformation is also happened. And the latest code is being deployed to uh, front-end server 1 in QA. Now, Sahul, if you go to your, you can share your screen basically so that other people will see. Okay. Let me make you presenter quickly. Yeah, now you are presenter. You can show your screen. Yeah, yeah, like that. You
Okay.
can click on this. Either approve, you can reject. You can click on approve basically. Click on approve. You give some comment. Uh, you can, you can reassign as well. You have the option on the top right corner. For the timing, you can say approved. It is showing everything. This is pending for 2 minutes, and the timeout will happen in 8 minutes. It is showing everything. You see, approve. Now, if you go back to that pipeline view, you see that is happening, right? Close this box basically. Close this box.
Yeah, it's in progress.
Production. Yeah. You see, you click on that. Click on the production now. Now you can see the progress. If you click on the no. You close this one. Click on the box production where you have the in progress happening. Or logs. Click on the logs.
It's
Oh,
already
succeeded.
succeeded. Yeah.
Okay, it's fast, right? Now let me take my presentation back.
No.
Okay. You can see my screen right now.
Yes.
Okay. It is succeeded now. Now if I go to my production environment box, you see the code is deployed at 239. You see. Okay. There is some time delay. You can see web.config 248. Open this. Try notepad. What you have here entries: email, production. Tableau production DB. You see, the web.config entries are updated as per the configuration what we mentioned in our variable section of our release pipeline. Right? This is good. Now, if you go to your journeys, just refresh it. You see all the content. Right click, browse. Ask me later. You see the latest code, right? Web.config 21 October. This is what we done. And similarly, if you want to check the second server in the QA environment, this is a front end server too, right? It should not be updated, right? The reason the code is not deployed to front end code is not deployed to this server. You can refresh it already. See, right? So we tested all our changes, like you've seen how to implement a pre-deployment approvals for any stage, and then how do you do automation of web.config entries updates without making any impact on the developer. Developer need not to make any, let him do whatever he is doing. We just take these entries and then put it in the variable section and provide the stage names, QA, production, etc. Okay, and you also made use of tags for your servers inside your deployment group. What servers are for front end hosting, what servers are for API hosting, etc. So these are all the things that you see in today, guys. Any doubts? Just imagine you have 500 entries. You literally don't believe in me. People spend days and days to just validate the entries, basically key value pairs. Okay. Okay, guys. I took a little longer today. Otherwise, it will make the discontinuity. That's the reason. We'll extend these sessions tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.